Hello and welcome to another video. Even after all the years that has gone past since the ordeal that I had to go through here with this story, sad but true, a true story, I can't talk, a true story that I had to go through because I was falsely accused. Never convicted, never went to court. But the time it took me to sit there, 512 days, I do believe it was, 12, 13. And each time my mind starts to go back to them days, it seems to be that days that I was there and being inside is not the worst part of it all. The worst part is the people that you've known for all your life. That's supposed to be your best friends and stuff through thick and thin. Somehow they have a different outlook of you, judgmental. Even though the person that falsely accused me admitted that it was not me and found out how it all got mixed up, them so-called true friends still don't treat you the way they used to. Some that you were raised up with. And it gets even worse. You always have that bad apple in the bunch. When it comes to friends that pretty much turned their blind eye and just have a different opinion of you after the ordeal that you had to go through, even though it's proven, all false accusations. That's one thing. But when you have a family member that just flats out doubts and say things that pretty much they saying you did it, even though they know you didn't because they were raised the same way that you were. They know all the situation and they understand why what happened. But yet they still talk with the doubt in their voice. I mean, just phrases they use is like, well, the $1,000,000 question is, did you do it? Hell, you know I didn't do it. You're my brother. You know how we were raised. You know actually what's going on firsthand. You've seen it actually happen. The reason behind it. But they got so much hate deep down in themselves that that's just the way they are. I still love them just the same. I still do whatever, a brother's supposed to do to help the other. But the audacity of the hate they have just because something happened of getting falsely accused, they treat you in a different way. That's okay. I know the truth, and they can do whatever they want to do. They can say whatever they want to do until they break the rules. It's called slander. Then that's where I draw the line. That is worse than actually being behind bars for being falsely accused, just sitting there and never go to court about it. That is the worst part of it all. Even after all these years, if somebody asked me what's the worst part of it all, that's what I would say it would be. It's a shame that people have so much hate that they just cannot see and live in the reality and the facts. Regardless if it's a friend, a loved one, family member, don't matter who. It's, you know, the person, you see what happened, and it's been proven of the false accusations, but yet still they have so much hate that they almost want to punish you in any way they can, mistreat you for something you haven't done. But I don't let that bother me because I know, like I said, I know what the truth is, and I know what I was falsely accused of. I know I didn't do it. But that's not good enough in their eyes. That is the worst part, and that's what hurts the most about all of it. Is when you have a family member that you grew up with day in and day out to do something like that, even after the truth comes out. And if by any chance, if that, if he sees this video, so be it. I'm not biting my tongue. I'm going to tell it the way it is. That's the way I always been. If you don't like the truth, then don't ask the question, you know? That's just the way it is. If you think if you ask a question and the truth of the answer may hurt your feelings, well, by golly, don't ask the question. And don't do foolish things to make yourself look like a fool. That's what's actually happened. You're looking like a fool, and you're doing it to yourself. I don't let it bother me. I don't let it affect me because that's your life. I live mine. But I just hope that you can come back to reality and possibly someday admit that you were wrong, but I'm not going to hold my breath. But overall, the journey that I took, that is the worst part of all of it. Even if I got convicted of it, falsely convicted, and sat there for years, that would still be the worst part because even if the courts, the legal system, which is all screwed up. And you can read that in my book up here, how screwed up it really is. And watch my videos here, how screwed up it is. And I also think about how many people that got into a situation, maybe not the same, accused of the same thing, but some kind of crime that they are not guilty of, but at the same time, they keep pressuring them and then offer them a lower deal or lower sentence. And they take it and they sit there for years for something they didn't do. I feel for them people because they try to pressure you all different kind of ways to get you to confess to something so they can put another notch in their belt saying, they convicted somebody, regardless if it was falsely or not. I wasn't going to go for it. I'm like, I'm innocent and I'm going to stay that way. Don't matter what they did. They're going to have to try everything, exhaust everything to the point where they like, okay, there's nothing else we can do. We're just going to have to let him go. And that's exactly what they did after the accuser enlightened them of who it really was. And according to that individual that did it, by their social security number, they are no longer living. So we can't punish them for something they did when they are no longer here. But it put me on a different path in life. It opened up my eyes of how screwed up the legal system is in this world and how people can hate so much. And it don't matter who it is. It don't matter if it's somebody that you see out in the streets that you have no clue who they are, some stranger, how much hate they have. But when it hit home, directly home, makes a big difference. And I just hope that my brother actually realizes how wrong he is and admits it. But like I said, I'm not going to hold my breath. Just so full of hate and confusion. I kind of feel sorry for him for, have to live that way. It's a shame. But that's the way he wants to live. That's the way he will live. More power to him. But I'm going to live my life because when I got out, I did a little bit of work, put life back together. And then I said, heck with this. So I retired. And I've been loving it ever since. Retire when you're 40 some years old and then you just live life and spend a lot of time with grandkids and stuff. Nothing like it. I just hope that the people out there, and it's many people out there that's got so much hate for other people. I mean, you can find the hate every corner that you turn, especially like the last 4 years. So much hate for one individual, and they try to take him out, try to keep him from running for president again, even though he still is the president because he didn't lose. But that's so much hate against one person. I just don't see the benefit of hating somebody so much that you would do anything, even lie, to make the person look bad. But like I said, when it comes to a family member that you were raised with the same morals, day in, day out, and they know you inside out, know the life that you live, how you do your best to help others, give up things so other people can have things. And yet, when you get falsely accused, they look at you as a criminal and then question your character. Like, well, the $1 million question is, did you do it? Well, I just looked back at him and said, the $1 billion question is that you even think you need to ask that damn question. Then I turned and walked. It's just stupid and unnecessary. But that's how some people want to live their life. More power to them. That's their life. Miserable. I'm not living my life that way. I'm going to continue to live my life like I always have. This is just something that's been sitting on my mind, my heart to put out, thinking, should I put something of that personal out? And more I thought about it, that's part of the journey. That's part of it. And I have put my mind to of telling the whole story, the parts even that's not in the book, in more detail. Because if I wrote a book that would cover everything, it almost have to write 2 books, maybe 3. But that's what I'm planning on doing, is doing some book signing and stuff, and do a little story time telling about some things that's actually not in the book. A little bit more, and some things that's in the book, and but a little bit more in depth. And still to this day, when I hear like a metal door or heavy door slam, I get them chills run down my back, because that's something I heard every day. And sometimes it just stops me in my tracks, and I just have to stop, sit down, and grasp back to reality of where I'm at. Like, I'm not there no more. It's all good, and just brush it off and move on. Some of it you just can't get rid of. It's just when you hear something long enough repeatedly, it's always going to be with you. Even watching police stories, NCIS or anything like that, sometimes I think back when I see the jail or inside of a courtroom or anything that's related to my experience that I had. I never went to court for it, but that's part of being locked up, regardless if you did it or not. Even when I see a police car ride down the road and see somebody in the back of it, I know how it feels to sit in the back, because I got in the back of one a few times. But I have come to the point where I can actually cope with it. I think about it, but it don't affect me anymore. But it's definitely on the mind every time I see anything related to it. Them kind of things I can just think about and brush off. But when you have a family member that treats you differently as if you're guilty, you can't brush that off. Only thing you can do is pray for them and hope for the best and move on. It's a shame, but that's the way they want to live their life. That's all I have for this video. It's just something that I have been thinking about for months. And I decided to go ahead and tell the story of that part of the journey. And here it is, 2023, and that was back in 2010, 11 when I went through it. And it still hasn't changed. Two of my brothers, they'll text me on my birthday, say Happy Thanksgiving or Merry Christmas. We don't get together as we used to when Mom and Daddy's still living. But at least the little text goes a long ways. But the one that, in a way, still falsely accusing me of something, I don't get no texts. I've sent texts, but no replies. That's okay. That's their life they want to live. That's a grudge that you have to go to their grave or come reality and realize that they're the ones in the wrong. But until next video, thank you for watching. Leave your comments down below. Thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you like to hear more of my journey that I had to go through. Or go on to Amazon or any other major bookstores and look up the book and you can actually purchase it. It's not a real long book. It's like 130, 150 pages. It hits the highlights of the journey that I went through. Most people that read it, they said they were going to read a little bit and put it down and come back next day and read it. Most of them said after they got into it, they realized that they are already halfway through the book because it was just the way it was written, that they just sat there and read the rest of it. Pretty much one sitting and read the whole book. And some of them said they read it multiple times to really grasp all of it. But I'm going to look into doing some book signings, find some places where I can hold the event, maybe a bookstore, maybe a coffee shop. But this internet hobby that I have has been kind of keeping me busy, and the grandkids have been keeping me busy. But I'm enjoying life, the early retirement. Instead of working all my life and have a few years to retire, I'm flip the plan. Work like crazy for a few years and then retire and have more years of retirement than you actually work. Instead of doing 70 and 20, 70 and 30, I'm doing the 30 and 70. And hopefully I have many years ahead of me so I can watch the grandkids and my own kids actually grow up. But if you have anybody in your life that wants to falsely accuse you of something and you know that you didn't do it, don't let it get to you. Just tell them the truth. And if they want to accept it, fine. If they don't, that's on them, not you. I know it may hurt. It may make you lose sleep because of it, because it just you can't understand why they want to be that way. Let them live their life, even if it's miserable and with false information, and you live your life. Don't let them control your life. I know I don't. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Hit the thumbs up, share the videos, share the channel, and hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification if you want to hear more of the stories of the journey that I had to take. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.